Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Woohoo, party! It's actually 11 o'clock here, eh? We're pretty much through the trading day. TRI's got a super special report here about, almost about 2 hours. Yeah, not very brief. But hey, we love to talk markets. So what the fuck, eh? It's our passion. It's our joy. It puts smiles on our faces, so why not? Tuesday, Wednesday, we haven't quite figured it out just yet, but Tuesday evenings we have a meeting, a club for stock pickers and option traders and stuff. And also we had a long meeting about futures trading yesterday as well. So a lot chock full of meetings yesterday. Kevin, my cohort here. I don't know whether we call you the producer, director, or the co-host. A little bit of both. I get everybody to do everything around here. So, and I've suggested it's a good idea to try and get a Kevin or two in your life. It sure makes life a lot easier. I tried to do all this yesterday, and I think I completely fucked up the free video. So my apologies, YouTubers. You're probably wondering what the hell are these guys doing? But I didn't have Kevin yesterday, so I winged it, and I think I winged the Wong number. That's a joke from a million years ago. I don't think you're allowed to say that in this PC world. Anyway, so what do we got here today? Clearly, stock markets are coming off in earnest. Risk off. The image on the screen here, everything makes sense that we talk about with risk off, except a couple things don't make sense, but I suppose we'll get to it. First and foremost, US dollar index, of course, jumping higher here today. So I guess that bear ABCD level was the level that they were thinking about. Remember, that was a reload zone. Inside bar reversal. And oh, by the way, Kevin went and bought call options, and he's doing nicely on his trade. Way to go, Kevin, you rock star. I think on balance, the impression that I'm getting here is this feels like, because the election now is so close. Basically, today is actually the last day you can actually officially do business and it actually settle in the stock market before the election, right? Because it's 3-day settlement. So 1, 2, 3. You better get your trade done here by today or tomorrow if you want to get that trade off before the actual election event. So I think there's a lot of position squaring. You know what? We have to have this all settled up before the actual election. So let's just hop off on the sidelines and let the dust settle here through this event. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And with the US dollar jumping up here, probably everybody's just piling into T-bills and 2-year US Treasury bonds and just sort of turtling. Stock market itself coming off smartly here. All our little sort of bearish ETF proxies are all jumping up. Bought them primarily for insurance purposes. So I don't really even want to think about tinkering with either of them. I mean, if the stock market falls apart, I want to have my ass covered. So I've got the dog put or dog calls. This is the crypto page, so they're over on the stock market page. I want to bother going up those. But the dog is the dogs. It's the Bear ETF on the Dow. And the SPXS. And Kevin, dog himself, went and grabbed some more of the SPX calls, and I missed the trade, and the damn options are moving up today. Bastard. Anyway, way to go, Kevin. So, what we're seeing here, obviously, stocks coming off a big chunk. This kind of surprised me. Junior stocks are not getting hit as hard as the senior stocks. That's fascinating. I think that might be a function of that mega F trade. Oh, those stupid, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they all just went absolutely just ridiculously up. And I get the distinct impression a lot of that's coming out of the market now. Probably ahead of the election, too. People kind of don't want to take such a one-sided bet in the market. Let's see what we got here. Well, I mean, it's awfully tough to see the relative performance. Everything's getting its ass kicked. But these megas are actually doing worse than the broader market. Actually, if you overlook here in the financials, hey, there's actually a financial stock that's up on the day, right? So what you're seeing is the mega Fs getting absolutely obliterated. And because they're so overweight in the indexes, it kind of skews the image. This is that, are you buying the stock market or are you buying a market of stocks? We've sort of talked a little bit about the troubles that Google could be facing here going forward. Not really a fan of investing in any of these kind of names here now at all, which is sad. I did do some buying though today, but kind of boring, places. I bought a VCIM stock that they brought right back down to the bottom end of the range, so I kind of like that. And I bought a industrial rail stock that they brought it right back down into its reload zone and testing its original W bottom. Boring. A junior mining stock and a rail transportation company. Now that's exciting investing. So, I mean, I don't know whether they just throw the baby out with the bathwater here. We've talked about this lots. I mean, this is a crazy ass year anyway. What's really concerning about this chart, though, is this is a megaphone pattern. And actually, I don't know whether he's going to be watching these videos or not, but we had a site member that we actually even named setups off of him, Da Vinci. And we used to talk about the Da Vinci nightmare. And that was off of the Dow before the whole fucking paper printing nonsense craziness got going. But I could potentially see a Da Vinci nightmare scenario here if the whole goddamn system just starts melting down here. Remember the whole sort of, brr, printing press, all that kind of crap talk that propped the market up here, was basically the Fed comes out and says, well, the U.S. government has authorized, $2 trillion in new debt. We will use that as collateral and we will lend out, when they'll use it as 20% collateral. So they'll lend out, $5 or on every dollar that they have in collateral. They're not going to take a fucking chance, but they'll mortgage the United States' future on it. Sure, why not? And remember, their business model is just collecting the interest. But we have kind of a problem here. We have this nasty political event that's coming up in a week, and I think there's going to be a lot of sort of questions as who the hell actually won this thing coming out on Tuesday. And then, call me crazy, but doesn't it seem kind of a coincidence that China and Russia have gone very, very quiet here of late? I wonder whether maybe a nice little sneak attack. I remember people were talking about that a while ago. Catch the Americans with their pants down. Maybe that's the kind of scenario, some horrible terrorist event that could knock the market down even further. I mean, that's always, tinfoil hat kind of talk, but nonetheless, you see that image, that's a concerning image. Seeing the big old honking, what are we supposed to think if you see the market smiling at you? We start losing these lows. Geez, this is all open air down here. I mean, I don't know how far we go, but it wouldn't shock me in this nutso 2020 insano year that we have to come all the way right back down to where we were there in March. Wouldn't surprise me at all, folks. So just be prepared. Don't take too much risk. Make sure you're well diversified. And for heaven's sakes, now, in this kind of environment, now you understand why barstool guys get themselves in trouble. This market can only go up. They get all long up here. Then the market comes and breaks their hearts and, you don't hear from them again. Be careful here, everybody. 2020. Oh boy, this has got trouble written all over it. If anything, what I'm hoping for is just making a nice, polite correction, maybe an A, B, C, D down against these lows. Fed comes out and says, "Brr, printing press, Bitcoin's woo!" Takes off like a rocket. And of course, all the capitalists, they're all happy because they get to just roll out their bonds for another 20, 30 years, right? And we just keep pushing the can down the road. But while we have this funny political event here, and what the uncertainty, can lawmakers actually even get together shortly following the election? Who knows? United States of America is a little bit vulnerable here. Let's hope they don't get caught with their pants down. All right. Well, anyway, moving on. Interesting to see. I couldn't get back in on this goddamn oil trade. Pissed me off. Jerks. It's interesting how I'm not an oil bull at all. In fact, I hate. I not hate. Hate's too strong of a word. I don't like oil. And I don't like investing in commodities right now. So technically, this is like kryptonite to me. And I was kind of a little pissed off because we did have actually a really nice looking bearish bot. And I literally talked myself out of the trade, which is kind of stupid, but, I'm a little bit amateur. But gee whiz, look at this bearish bot. So pretty. And I was kind of, hoping for you guys I could walk you through this, but I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, look at me, I'm so awesome, I took this trade." I didn't. But you can see the bearish bots just working away. And now you'd move your stop to trailing level. So on any kind of market structure, bullish signal, you get out. But my hunch is going to come down and tag this. I don't see any reason why that won't happen. And I kind of completely fucked this up. I was kind of hoping that this would be a great little demonstration for you, but I tried my best. All we gotta do is just keep trying. Had I had the kahunas just to sit there in that bearish bot and say, "Look, I'm going to risk against the break of the highs," and just, it took out one high, but so what? That's why we risk against the third high and just do nothing. I'd be like, "Woo, look how smart I am. I'm the best." So this is really more, it's not the setup that was wrong. It's just shitty execution. Oh well, live and learn. Journal. And hopefully next market setup for you, I give you a half decent walkthrough. Where should we go next? Kind of thinking along those lines. I like the idea that our bearish proxies on the stock market are going to work nicely for us. So, hopefully I'm banging out doubles on these kind of trades and stuff. So you don't completely lose faith in the old Beamish. Where do we want to go next? So, obviously around political event, lots of screwiness. I don't know whether this 50% level hits. I showed you that other one. This bearish bot's going to take us down into these levels. And, this also doesn't speak well of oil. It's interesting because, some of the oil stocks, maybe they're transitioning into energy stocks. And they're not even going to be in the oil business anymore. I don't know. I did see stocks like First Solar are jumping up smartly here today. So more of that kind of, maybe we're an energy stock, but we're just not in the oil business anymore. FSLR. So, in a crazy day like that, how do you get a stock like this moving up 12, 13% on the day? And actually, I think even Kavarkanator was telling us about names that he was buying that were jumping up here. So, there are bull markets out there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's, ironically enough, the bull that I'm chasing and following right now is in these bear ETFs. But I suppose, I won't get into what I bought. Well, what the fuck? It doesn't really matter. I picked up, ironically enough, these guys are in the gold mining business. I mean, you see what the gold chart looks like. But this is a typical sort of Vancouver VSE cans or VCIM kind of name. This guy ever gets his act together, what do you think? Has he got a chance to make some money? Through that funny little summer rally, they rallied it right up to the top end of the range, then brought it right back down. Typical venture capital. Didn't have any of this on the book, so I went and grabbed some today. So not a bad idea. But am I going to be banging out a double tomorrow? No, probably maybe end of the new year kind of thing. And then, like I said, I might as well show you what the hell. Names that I think have put in long-term bottoms, but maybe just got a little ahead of themselves. And I really love the look of these kind of W's down in here. And, maybe they got a little too far too fast. All they've done is just knock the thing right back down against its original bottom. So, good old Brian, I bought the W because I missed the trade originally. So I'm actually happy about that. But I also have another bid working. There's a cheeky little gap right down here. So, hopefully what ends up happening is I get like a nice average cost right in that area there. That would be best. We'll see what happens. But you tell me, these guys ever get their act together? Have they got any kind of room to make some money? And that's a very typical kind of Brian trade. So, I don't know whether there's really a hell of a lot else to talk about with you guys here. Obviously, they're taking the stuffing out of risk today. We find it fascinating that the junior market, though, is dramatically outperforming. Actually, Kevin even made a comment in the Daily Brief that he said that I think his historical study found that the first year of the presidential term, usually value stocks outperform growth stocks. So that would make sense. The mega Fs are getting their asses kicked. That's all that growth kind of idea. And our little junior value stocks are still rocking and rolling. So I like that commentary from Kevin. I was interested to see. Remember, we were kind of talking about whether gold would get its act together. Now, stocks down, oil down. Bonds are up a little bit. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do in this kind of environment. Surprising to see the gold just getting its ass kicked here. New M, yuck. So if you are a bull, you just got to cool your jets and just wait for some sort of W's to come in here, and it's just nothing. So ironically enough, it's in this kind of environment, big down day, big ugly day, that you get things like the VCIM names to come back down to the bottom end of their ranges. Because when this market's flying, those silly VCIM names, they just go nuts. So, if you can take advantage, the way I approach that is like really, and it's also the same thing in the altcoin market. It's exactly the same. Where they don't call it the fall for nothing. Buy when it snows, sell when it goes. This is the end of October. Here comes November. I think Kevin was even saying that he saw snow on the ground in his local neighborhood recently. So they dump these things. They discount prices. Now the question is, can you step in on the buy side when they discount them into your levels that you sort of figure is value, and get ready for the next cycle? That's a lot of what I do, is just sort of buying when they're crying, selling when they're yelling. Crypto, problem with Bitcoin right now is they're yelling. There's no fucking way I can come in on the buy side on this. I might be able to hunt like lower time frame setups. We had like Bollinger brand breakouts and bullish bots and all those kind of fun things off lower time frames. But I can't with good consciousness go to the public and say, this is a pretty risk free investment. You're buying value, because I just don't think you are. Lots of talk about Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto events and all that kind of stuff. And I sort of explained this in a free video recently. I actually think that the Earth's position is here, here, and here on its entire annual orbit. I did the first one here, but that's here nor there. It's kind of semantics. The point here is there's the April pivot, there's the June pivot, there's the November pivot. Are we going to get this kind of crazy ass insanity into the November one? It would actually make sense, believe it or not. And then maybe a bit of calming on the other side of this. And then we have this another big event coming up December 21st. It's the big Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, or I guess it's just Jupiter and Saturn. That's the big one that they're saying that hasn't been like this since 1623. So I do believe that the Jupiter, Pluto, or I guess it's, this gets so confusing. I think it's Earth, Jupiter, and Pluto. They're the ones that did this, this, and this. And I think it's all around this sickness. And that was a sickness event, classic. This was sickness event, classic. And here's our fall. And they're saying that the cases are ramping up and all hell's breaking loose and Europe's shutting down. So German stock market off another 5% today. What the fuck? So really, it shouldn't surprise us. Risk is coming off. This is a risk-off kind of environment. U.S. dollar index is moving up. Where Bitcoin ultimately finds footing here in the short term, I mean, it's a mug's game. Been following Foggenbaum. Kind of said, hey, maybe we've gone a little too far too fast. Learn this shit, people. I mean, damn it, that's ridiculous. Then we had also a 3 drives pattern. That was kind of like, you know what? We've probably gone a little too far too fast. Bang, stop. Kevin even pointed out in his presentation today, he was really surprised that we ran up against this high and could not break through that high, which was fascinating. Why on earth did that happen? So we've created, you can see, this is a shooting star now kind of idea. Doji-ish for the time being. Obviously, the day's still young. Interesting level that we're fighting at here. Why here? Why now? And we've been following these Gann angles very closely. And it was such a cool analogy, talking people through how this angle stopped the bull. And then, do we really want to accept higher here? Can we blast through this teal quadrant and just jump right up into this orange quadrant? And you can see how the market tested that level. Then last night blasted through it and then fractaled out on top of it and then just puked out. So I get the impression that the market wants to be in teal here. Also, too, really good analogy of an angle that once was resistance turns into support. So why on earth did the market pivot here this morning? And it was kind of weird. I mean, I could have sworn I even talked specifically about this approach in the videos yesterday, where I said, probably best idea to keep an eye on these candle body lows for trade location. Don't chase, drag your reload zone tool. Whoop, that's the other one. Drag your reload zone tool up and then just hunt reload zone tags. And gee whiz, it's ridiculous, this stuff. So bang, right into a reload zone. Candle body lows. Traded to the POC. 78.6. Even this cute little uptrend line drawn off of these lows. Doink. And then the market pivoted right back to our angle. So I don't know whether you have the balls to step in and buy this. Now we're starting to talk about like lower time frame, the day traders and stuff. Probably not appropriate for you in the public. What I would just simply say is there is a huge battle going on right now in the corn right here off a very significant level. We lose these lows and lose this little trend line that we have established off of these highs. That probably becomes resistance now, and this now turns back into resistance. You can see the fight going on here. If we can hold on to these lows, turn back up through 38.2, then I think we're back comfortably in teal land. And all those day traders, we pointed out, wow, what an incredible level. Gaps, 78.6. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. So day traders coming in against these lows, I think they got some long shots, and they're just asking right now, can we accept back above 38.2? If we can, then I think we head right back up top. If we can't, we start making 3 lower highs, then we're probably bottoming out and back down to these levels we go. What a cool analogy of Gann angles. And actually, I'm kind of glad I did this study because it really helps to see why Mr. Gann was so good at his craft and how he basically owned the market, just trading his crazy angles. So anyway, I think I'll leave the free broadcast at that. You know, obviously with this kind of image on the corn, there's not a hell of a lot to get excited about on things like altcoins. And you know, even these little names are coming back down to earth. But on balance, I think our message for you guys is as long as the shit perp kind of stuff is working its way down, I don't think there's a huge hurry in altcoin land. So slow and steady. And probably if you're going to remember anything from today, remember this. They don't call it the fall for nothing. Write that down. Okay, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. Kevin, if you could take us out of here, I'd love you for it. The only thing left for Brian to say at this point is a big bye for now.